down, and my shoes got all wet. I started screaming like a maniac.
What's wrong?
My shoes, they're ruined. Gray glared at me.
Forget about your stupid shoes. It's dangerous out here. Those guys are still after us.
Hey guys, I'm Goody! And today, we're going to be reacting to this video called I'm Too Wealthy to the Point I Don't Appreciate Money Anymore. Which, come on, let's be honest, like, you can't not appreciate money no matter how wealthy you are. If you're in your right mind, that is. But yeah, this is from My Story Animated. So here we go.
Hey, my name is Emma, and some people used to call me a spoiled... Hi, my name is Emma, and some people used to call me a spoiled brat. At the time, I didn't have the faintest idea why. I just thought they were jealous and rude. Sure, my dad was the biggest business tycoon in the city, my mother was a socialite, and I just happened to go on shopping sprees every weekend, exclusive parties on private jets, and have maids, servants, a stylist, and a chef. Daddy, I want a pink Porsche with silver sparkles.
So, you've answered your own question right there. Why a lot of people consider you a spoiled brat. First, not only do you brag about all the stuff you have, but you just act like it's nonchalant. It's like, oh yeah, everyone has maids around them. I just happen to have a maid too. And that kind of request, a Porsche with pink silver sparkles, that's a very lofty request for a kid.
Can't drive a blue Porsche. It'll clash with my nails. Take it back now.
We're so sorry, honey. We'll fix it right away.
Jeez, was I that bad? I was worse than a spoiled brat. I was a nightmare.
You don't say. So they literally brought her a car that cost about like maybe $90,000, and all because it didn't match with the color of her nails. She wanted them to return it and get a different car. I mean, who looks at their nails and say like, oh, my car doesn't match with the color of my nails? I've never seen any woman do that.
What are you talking about? I'm not spoiled at all. Who are you anyway? Ugh, it doesn't matter. Security, take this trash away. Hi, don't listen to that crazy person. Do you see her clothes and those shoes? Such a disaster. If you want to know the truth, I'm actually very sweet and kind and all that sappy stuff. Plus, I've got 1 million followers on Insta and TikTok that love me. Every year, I take myself on...
So then she claims to be sweet and lovable. After you call the security to take someone away, oh, not because they were genuinely harassing you, not because they were bothering you, or because they were a threat to your physical safety and well-being, but out of everything to complain about, you point at the shoes someone is wearing? I mean, the shoes, that's the part of someone's appearance that you would notice the least. I mean, I would think that you look up at their face, maybe you see what shirt they're wearing, maybe pants, but the shoes? Who knows? Maybe this girl would also complain about the fact that someone is not wearing black socks, or maybe the fact that her socks didn't match the color of the Porsche. And when she says, oh yeah, I have 1 million followers, that shows this girl is definitely focused a lot on materialistic things and claims to be very sweet. Yeah, right. Ooh. This comes off across as one of the people who does something super bad. They know what they're doing, and they act like they don't understand why people are mad at them, but then they do all of this just for attention.
1 million followers on Insta and TikTok that love me. Every year, I take myself on vacation with my own money. Well, technically it's my parents' money, but who cares? What's theirs is mine, and what's mine? Well, that's obviously mine. Anyway, my life was fabulous.
Well, I wouldn't assume that this girl had any money of her own that she actually earned by herself. You can't say, I take myself on vacation with my own money. That's actually my parents' money. But yeah, you get the point. It's my own money. That's double speak right there.
Happened during spring break. Every year, I'd go to a new and exciting place to vacation with my friends. And this time, we were heading for Norway. And I couldn't be more excited. Of course, I took my private jet. Sitting next to other people for hours on end would never work. I needed space and privacy to do yoga, try on all my new clothes, lie in my tanning bed, and take a nap. Okay, fine. I admit it, I snore sometimes.
Oh, yes. And she had to make sure that everybody knows that she takes a private jet. Oh, yeah, sitting next to people on an airplane. Ooh. Wow. So it looks like even the smallest of anything would really tip this girl off. I mean, it's common experience when you get on an airplane just to subsidize the cost of the airplane instead of having the airplane all to yourself and then paying maybe a couple of $100,000 or maybe even $1 million just to take the trip. And internationally as well, let's say, like probably costs over $1 million.
Please don't tell anyone. It's so embarrassing. By the time I reached Norway, it was past noon. I'd rented out a private villa for me and my friends who were going to meet me there. I planned to arrive fashionably late, as usual. I put on my sunglasses and headed out of the airport, but as I was walking, I noticed these scary guys following me.
Okay, so she definitely does see herself as a celebrity here. So she thinks that she's more important than even her friends. Term fashionably late. Like, you think you look so much better. You think people love you so much more, like respect you so much more just because you're late. And how does it happen to be every time you have vacation or every time you have anything that you always arrive late? That either means you think you're better than other people, you have poor time planning skills, or you're not considerate of other people's time, which is probably all three. But yeah, I can't imagine her friends liking her more just because she shows up much later than everyone else and because everyone is waiting for her. Unless, what if all of her friends showed up, quote unquote, fashionably late as well? Then it wouldn't be so fashionable because then it's like, well, everyone's late. Like, we all planned for 4, but everyone comes at 7. But, ooh, this doesn't seem like a good friend to have right here.
I got a little nervous, so I ran outside and saw this amazing Maserati with dark tinted windows parked at the curb. It was the most expensive car around, and it must have been for me. So I hopped inside. A cute boy, a few years older than me, sat in the driver's seat. He stared at me like he was totally confused.
Where's your father?
Who knows? The boy started to panic. Calm down. Forget about my father. You work for me. Let's get going. The boy glanced out the window, then sped off at top speed. He said his name was Grayson. I told him I'd call him Gray because I didn't have time to waste on him and his extra syllables. I posted a bunch of cool selfies, and I must have dozed off.
Well, okay, the entitlement here. We already knew this girl was super entitled from the beginning, but she's like the type of person, I see it, I want it, I can have it. And she thinks just because something is super nice, it's the best thing around, that it belongs to her, and that if anything happens, her dad will just buy it. And extra syllables, that's the guy's name. And it's not that many more syllables. If we think about it, Grayson. Just one more syllable. And then the fact that she's like, oh yeah, like, when a stranger just sits there, hops into your car, and if it's a kid, you gotta be wondering, where's their parents? But oh no, she's like, yeah, that doesn't matter. I don't care what my dad is, but you work for me.
What's going on?
It's a snowstorm. There's ice all over the road. I can hardly see a thing.
Then stop the car.
We can't stop the car. They're after us.
Who's after us?
Your uncle's men.
Ray pointed behind us. 3 SUVs were hot on our tail. But I don't have an uncle. Ray gave me the strangest look, then pulled a photo out of his pocket of a girl that looked just like me.
Hold on. You're Stephanie Spaghetti, right?
No? What kind of name is that? I'm Emma Stringbean.
Oh, okay, so this driver just happened to know that she had an uncle and much less happen to have a picture of her uncle in his pocket? Like, which driver just has a picture of one of your extended family members in their pocket and they can just pull it out when you say, who's my aunt? Who's my cousin? Who's my uncle? Who's my brother?
Anyway, back to my story. When Gray realized that I wasn't this spaghetti girl, he turned really pale. Then one of the SUVs pulled up beside us.
Stop the car, now!
Leave us alone, or I'm telling my dad.
Huh. She uses that I'm telling my dad line even as a teenager. Like, you think that's any threat at all? Like, to someone who's trying to come after you? I'm gonna tell my dad. Come on.
Then rammed our car really hard. Gray drove faster, trying to get away, but our tires slid on some ice, and Gray lost control. The car smashed through a railing, ran off the road, down a slope, and straight for a tree. Ah! Gray jerked the wheel, and we missed the tree by an inch, and the car rolled into a ditch. Gray pulled me out of the car and held me in his arms. He was so handsome and strong that my heart skipped a beat.
Are you hurt?
I didn't have any broken bones or bruises. I think I'm fine. He put me down, and my shoes got all wet. I started screaming like a maniac.
What's wrong?
My shoes! They're ruined! Gray glared at me.
Forget about your stupid shoes. It's dangerous out here. Those guys are still after us.
Okay, so you had people coming after you. Like, your life was in danger, and the car crashed. Now you're in the woods, and out of everything, you're more focused on your shoes being wet? If you got caught in snow, of course it's going to be wet. Like, when your life is in danger, the fact that you're more focused on your shoes is kind of messed up.
When it gets dark, we'll have to worry about wolves or worse. I know these woods, and there's a cabin that's not too far from here. We can lay low there for the night, and then I can contact my associate to pick us up.
I'm not going anywhere with you. You're not even my driver. You kidnapped me.
I didn't kidnap you. You jumped into my car.
Tomato tamale.
That's not how that saying goes.
Whatever. This is all your fault. Who are you anyway? Are you some kind of criminal?
Oh, we have a Karen in the house. So you just happen to jump into a stranger's car, and it's a stranger's fault. The stranger drove you wherever they drove you. Like, you didn't verify that that was your driver. I mean, in the airport, I would have thought that your driver would be waiting for you and would have a sign that says your name. That you wouldn't just be sitting in some Maserati and then be thinking, oh, well, my customer is going to think that this is the right car because this is the best car out of any car in the airport. So my customer is just going to come to me and I can just sit in the car and chill until my customer comes. Maybe listen to some music.
Follow me.
Gray headed into the forest, but I just couldn't move.
What are you waiting for?
Do I look like I'm dressed for a hike? I'm wearing Versace.
Are you kidding? You're worried about your dumb clothes?
Do you know how much this outfit costs?
Suit yourself. I'm out of here.
Gray walked away. I couldn't believe he was being so inconsiderate. You're fired.
I don't work for you.
I pulled out my cell phone to try to call my dad, but I couldn't get any reception. So I tried to get to higher ground.
He literally told you that you should come with him to this cabin that he knows of. And then you sit there talking about how you don't want to walk, how your outfit costs thousands upon thousands of dollars, and that you're wearing Versace. I mean, it's just a life or death situation. And he gave you a couple of chances and he was like, all right, I don't want to die out here out of hypothermia, so I'm just going to go to the cabin, but it's your choice. And he's the one being inconsiderate. Wow. The gaslighting here is real. Oh yeah, and let's not forget, she was trying to call her dad again.
Please don't eat me. There's not much meat on my bones. There's a boy around here somewhere, and he's got lots of muscles. He'd be a better meal than me, I swear. Gray stepped out of the shadows. He had a big bruise on his head.
Are you crazy? You almost took my eye out with your cell phone.
I thought you were a wolf man and you were gonna eat me or turn me into your wolf girlfriend, and then I'd have to eat rabbits and squirrels. I can't be a wolf girl. I get hair all over my body and even my face.
So, okay. He comes out. It's confirmed that's not a wolf, and she had nothing to worry about. And instead of apologizing, instead of showing any remorse for almost taking his eye out or leaving a bruise on his head, she's saying, like, oh, I didn't want to get eaten by a wolf. I didn't want to get wolf hair or become one of your wolf girlfriends. Like, these are fears of someone who's 5 years old. But she says all of that instead of showing any remorse whatsoever. Obviously, this lady doesn't have any capacity to feel empathy for anybody or take responsibility for stuff that she did wrong.
Helped me to my feet and told me we were going to the cabin. Why did you come back for me?
You'd freeze out here by yourself. And I guess I felt kind of guilty about leaving you behind.
Aw, that's sweet. Do you have a crush on me, Gray?
No, why not?
I'm gorgeous, smart, and my family has lots of money. Are you playing hard to get?
Sorry, I'm not into rich girls.
Well, I'm not into broody boys with bad attitudes and stupid muscles and handsome faces and...
Right.
Gray and I...
Okay, so Grayson definitely seems like one of the nicest people out there. And he was coming back to save your life. And you're like, oh, do you have a crush on me? And he's like, no. And then she's gaslighting him. Then she's talking about all the good traits that women are generally attractive to. She's like, oh yeah, I don't like guys like that. Like basically like, oh yeah, I don't like guys like you. And then she's describing why Grayson should have a crush on her and saying, oh, because my family's rich and all that stuff, like XYZ. Well, the way you describe yourself, you answered your question right there. Why this guy doesn't have a crush on you, much less why this guy might not even want to be around you if the money was taken out of the equation.
I ran to the door.
Emma, wait.
I was so excited. I ran outside and started waving my hands in the air like a mad woman. We're here! Save us! An SUV pulled up to the cabin, and the scary men from the airport stepped out. Why do your friends look like the scary men that ran us off the road?
Those aren't my friends.
They grabbed me, pulled me into the cabin, then slammed the door. Didn't you call them on that silly gadget?
You mean the walkie-talkie?
Okay, so she didn't recognize the faces when these guys stepped out of the car. And as soon as you see, okay, those are not his friends, those are not the help, you don't just run back inside. It didn't occur to you that you should just...
We sped off. 2 minutes later, we were on a highway. Did you see me back there? I was amazing.
You were all right.
I saved your butt.
Okay, fine. I owe you one.
Really? You could rub my feet, or maybe give me a massage? Just then, an SUV jumped onto the road and rammed us from behind.
They're still after us.
How?
They must have put a tracker on the SUV.
What do I do?
Keep driving.
I clutched the wheel and pressed my foot hard on the gas. And suddenly, my phone started beeping. I reached into my pocket to check it. It was my best friend, Tracy.
Alright guys, so what happened here was that, yes, so one of the guys from the airport did break into the house, was fighting Gray, and then Emma claimed that she was able to throw a vase on this guy's head and beat him up and like take the car key, and now they have one of those guys' cars that they're using to drive away and drive to safety. And here we are, where one of her friends calls her. Now, this time, Emma is late for a genuine reason. Not just fashionably late, but actually late.
SUVs were still hot on our tail.
Faster.
I'm trying! We raced onto the off-ramp. Then I looked up and saw the craziest thing. There were half a dozen police cars in front of us and a row of spikes in the middle of the road.
Stop the car.
I slammed my foot on the brakes. The spikes pierced our tires, and we skidded to a stop.
Okay, well, I'm surprised that she would even know how to drive. Because, I mean, who needs a driving lesson if you always have a driver for you? Unless you're learning to drive for fun. But she wouldn't sound like the type of person who would be taking driving lessons for fun either.
Us spilled the beans about their boss, Stephanie Spaghetti's uncle, and all his criminal activity, which led to dozens of arrests. My parents were so happy I was safe that they invited Gray to dinner. Afterward, I walked him to his car. You know, Gray, you still owe me for saving your life.
What do you want? Your parents are rich enough to buy you anything on the planet.
I was thinking about something that my parents' money can't buy.
What's that?
A date with you? What do you say?
I think that can be arranged.
I mean, after all that trouble, I wouldn't think that Grayson would want to go on a date with her, but okay, I mean, you know, you kind of spent time with her and you understand her personality, that she wasn't willing to help out in a dire situation. It was a life or death situation, and she was more focused on the fact that her outfit cost thousands of dollars. She can't show basic respect to anybody, and after all that, you still want to go on a date with her? I mean, I guess maybe because her parents had a lot of money, and then maybe because she's probably going to pay for it, or etc., or her parents are going to pay for it, then maybe I see that, but still, I don't think it's worth it. Anyways, guys, that's just my take on this story. If you like this video, please don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe with bell notifications, and share. I'm Googie!